Well, the sickness finally hit me. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Unfortunately, I got a cold flu bug that's been going around, so my total fall experience has begun, and I figured I'd share a story or two today before my voice goes out and I lose it. So I want to talk about the time that I stopped playing games, because there was a pretty significant, 6 or 7 years where I really wasn't playing very many games. I had kind of grown up enjoying SNES. That's sort of the first system I really remember. I do remember an NES, going over to my friend's house and trying Duck Hunt and stuff. But I do remember early Donkey Kong Country days, getting to play some SNES. I loved it. It was so fun. But Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 were kind of my first real era when I was growing up in terms of gaming. And then I remember having a subscription to Official PlayStation Magazine. And every month I would look forward to that magazine coming because I would read it cover to cover. I super miss magazines, by the way. But back then, you would also get a demo disc with the magazine, and it usually had 10 or 12 games that you could try little bite-sized pieces of, and I absolutely loved this. And also at the same time, you could go to Blockbuster or your local grocery store and rent videos, movies, and games. And this is how I played a lot as a kid. I remember looking forward to going to the grocery store with my mom, asking, "Hey, can I rent this game? Can we try Pokemon Snap on N64?" I rented some terrible games on PlayStation 1, and I know we have streaming today, and there are, on Steam still demos. Nintendo eShop has some demos and stuff, but it's not the same. Everything was try before you buy back then, and you could always vet a game for yourself to see if you liked it before buying it. And I think we've really left that behind. But I was interested, and it was sort of this, a part of my life, a hobby I cared about all the way until I was about in middle school. And at that time, I started getting into mountain biking and mountain bike racing. And during my teen years, for basically middle school all the way until college, I didn't really play that many games, right? I still loved Halo. During those years was Halo 2 and Halo 3, and those games, I was way, way, way into them. But I just was more focused on mountain bike racing. That lifestyle kind of looked like go to school, get off at 3:30, and then you would practice and train until 6 p.m., rinse, repeat, do it the next day. And same thing the summer, you'd get up at 7 and ride from 7 to 10, and then you would ride again from 5 to 7 in the evening. And it was a ton of fun. And all summer long, we would travel to these different races all over the US and spend these crazy cool weekends racing cross country and super downhill. And I kind of loved it. And I really wasn't missing gaming all that much. It wasn't an intentional, I'm ignoring this hobby now, I'm kind of done with it. But for 6 years, 7 years, I wasn't really that into gaming the way that I was when I was younger. But then I got to college, and I had a 17-inch tiny 720p TV. It was a little HDMI screen, because this is on the transition between CRTs to flat panels. I'm not that old, okay? But this tiny, tiny little flat screen TV, and me and my roommate, we discovered, oh, you like games too? He brought his PlayStation 2. I brought the 360, and I had found out that he had played through the Halo games with his brother. And before you know it, we were going through Halo 3 on Legendary. And then we went through Halo 3 ODST on Legendary. I borrowed a disc from somebody down the hall so that we could go through that game. And it was really special. I still wasn't that big into gaming anymore, but it was this really fun hobby now to discover with another person. And then the next year, when I moved off campus, one of my friends from my hometown, I knew that he liked Halo. He knew that I liked Halo. He was a year younger, just went to school. He, went to midnight release, bought 2 copies of Halo Reach, and we played Reach split screen multiplayer again on an old hand-me-down TV, a little bit bigger than the 17-inch, but an old hand-me-down TV every single afternoon for months and months and months after Reach came out. We went through the campaign together, and that really was the spark that kind of ignited me really enjoying and getting back interested in games. And I share the long-winded story here because I look back pretty fondly at that kind of big break that I took because it reignited a new passion for that hobby, and I wasn't forcing myself to do something just because it was something I had enjoyed in the past. I don't even know if there's a bigger message in all of this. I thought it was just fun to share a story like it, but it sort of flip-flopped. I raced bikes a ton. I got to college, and then I got my pro upgrade, and I did 2 seasons as a pro, and it was really hard. Went from being top 5 range now to being top 30 range. And it was crazy, the difference between, being a junior and then going into the sort of big leagues of it all. And at that time, I just was like, dude, there's no way that I can train enough to be a good bike racer and keep going to college at the same time. Because those guys are putting in like 5 to 7 hours a day of training some days. And yeah, it wasn't working. If you guys have watched some of my videos in the past talking about college, my first couple of years, I just didn't do well. I was missing classes and getting C's and some D's, and it just wasn't good. And so priorities shifted. And all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, well, academic has to be the focus here. I've got to grind. I got to finish school and finish strong. And gaming came along at the perfect time. Because gaming can be a really quality hobby, especially if you're in your college years, because it keeps you out of trouble in a lot of ways, right? You can get into all sorts of trouble when you're first on your own. You can do all sorts of stuff, and I guess that's true at any point in life, but gaming is kind of nice, You're getting to enjoy experiences with friends, connect with others. Obviously, moderation matters, and you can still miss out on really cool things if you're obsessed with any hobby. But it was this perfect little flip-flop where I started to let go of the dream of being like a pro mountain bike racer because I knew college was probably smarter and like a better long-term plan. So biking then became this kind of chill, fun hobby I did here and there that I wasn't as obsessed with. And the two sort of flip-flopped, right? When gaming was the main hobby, then it became biking, then back to gaming with, biking on the side. I share all of this because I think it's important, especially when I look back. Just because you've enjoyed something or you think your identity is wrapped up in a hobby, don't be afraid to transition, to let it go, to shift, to grow, basically, to give yourself permission to do something differently. Just because a hobby you're really into, you tie closely with your identity or whatever, doesn't mean that it should prevent you from trying new things or being willing to change, or even recognizing that there are just different phases and seasons of your life where some things are going to take precedence and some of the stuff that you loved may not. And ultimately, it ended up being really cool because the whole reason I YouTube to this day is because of playing Halo co-op on that 17-inch screen with my roommate and with my friend, because that got me into Halo multiplayer. And that introduced me to watching Machinima on YouTube, to buying a Hapog, to being a part of the Halo Zone channel back in 2011 and 2012. That's when this channel started, and it's been an incredible experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So, do you have any stories similar to this? Have you had any experiences, similar? I would love to hear about it in the comments down below. Thank you all so much. Hopefully, my voice will be a little bit better come Friday. Enjoy the week. We'll see you again very soon.